Okay.
Live from Provo, Utah.
Nope, not yet. Not yet.
Break.
Not yet.
Live from Provo, Utah. This is Small and Simple with Cole Stevens.
And Rowen Swank. So it's 8:30 in the morning. We got up early for this, but we're out here and we're going to talk about 3rd Nephi 27 through 4th Nephi. So what were your main insights that you got out of this?
Well, I just really liked all the things that Jesus said when he visited the Nephites for one last time. I just really liked one of the things he talked about at the very beginning. If we go like chronologically, one of the things he talked about from the very beginning was making sure that we use his name when we're talking about our church. And I love how President Nelson emphasized this in conference a few years ago, how we shouldn't be calling ourselves Mormon, but we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Like, this is his true restored gospel on the earth, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
That really is a beautiful thing. And yeah, that goes back to chapter 27, verse 7, where it says, "Therefore whatsoever ye shall do it in my name. Therefore ye shall call the church in my name, and ye shall call upon the Father in my name, that he will bless the church for my sake." So yeah, I think that's a really powerful lesson that we learned right at the beginning, is that everything that we do is in his name. And that goes into verse 21 as well. "Verily, verily, I say unto you, this is my gospel. And ye know the things that ye must do in my church, for the works which ye have seen me do, that ye shall also do. For that which ye have seen me do, even that ye shall do." So, everything that we do in this church is under his direction and to his example. So that's why we bless and serve others and minister to others. And I think that's just a really powerful part of our gospel. So
Yeah, that's true. They actually have the talk right here in the lesson, the correct name of the church from 2018. Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was 2018 that long ago, but yeah.
Shoot, yeah.
It just talks about how I love that. We really do everything in his name. We're disciples of Jesus Christ. And we represent him through our example and our actions.
That's so real. And I think that I don't know, it goes into that in verse 29 as well, just going back to like how the church was even founded and restored with the "Therefore ask, and ye shall receive, knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For he that asketh receiveth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened." And that's just like the Epistle of James, and just like how Joseph Smith read the Bible and how he went and sought revelation, and we need to do that too in our own lives and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's good. Let's see what else. Shine that light on me. Sorry.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I like 3rd Nephi 27:10. That was one of the verses. "And if it so be that the church is built upon the gospel, then the Father will show forth his own works in it." Yeah, that's the verse.
And yeah, that kind of goes into like the fact that like we know that this church is restored. We know it's the true church because of how he blesses our church, and like how we see his hand and how the church has been ran, and all the blessings that we receive as being a part of this church, and how it's grown so fast, and how we're able to build so many temples and enjoy so many great blessings as being a part of it and being members. So
Yeah. All right. Well, based on that, what does it mean for the church and for you to be built on his gospel?
Dang, now you're the one to ask questions to me, which is funny. But yeah, I think it's powerful, the fact that we're the church of Jesus Christ. And I think that just shows a lot about our focus and how it's like the first thing that we talk about, and it's all for him and all for his purposes, and to prepare for the second coming in the last days. So
yeah. And we're the only church with the entire fullness of the gospel and the entire truth, because other churches have parts of the truth.
Yeah.
But we're the only church with the whole truth, and that practices that day by day.
It's so real. Yeah. And I think that goes into chapter 28, and my favorite insight into all this, my favorite little part that I got out of the entire lesson, which is chapter 28, and it's just verse 1. It's just right there. "And it came to pass, when Jesus had said these words, he spake unto his disciples one by one, saying unto them, What is it that ye desire of me, after that I am gone to the Father? And that, what is it that ye desire of me?" And like, what do we really truly desire of Jesus Christ, and what do we desire of being a part of this church? whether that's true peace, true happiness, eternal families, living the word of wisdom, being able to serve and bless others. Like there's just so many different parts that you can, I don't know, try to get out of why you come to church and why you serve and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and I love the answers that his disciples gave. They said, "We desire that after we have lived unto the age of man, that our ministry, wherein thou hast called us, may have an end, that we may speedily come unto thee in thy kingdom." And I love that answer because it just shows that like their number one desire, they're such true followers of Christ that their number one desire is to be able to return to live with him in the kingdom of heaven. I feel like so many people today, like that's not the number one desire in their heart. So many people today are focused on like things of the world and like we were making jokes about talking about Broncos Saints last night, like talking about prioritizing that over talking about this doctrine. Like it could even be something, it doesn't even have to be something bad like the things of this world. There's obviously like the bad things like drugs and alcohol and things that you really shouldn't be focused on because that's damaging both your physical, mental, and spiritual health, all three of those healths. But but like there's also things that like aren't even bad, but people prioritize them over the gospel. Like it could be like a sport. A sport's good for you, but if you obsess over it and you're doing it every day and it's taking up your time on Sundays, like that's also just as bad as focusing on other things of the world. And I just love that answer that they gave, that their number one desire is to be able to return to live with their Father in heaven. And they talk about their ministry, how that also is also so important to them. They talk about their ministry and like they want to minister to people. They want people to return to live in the kingdom of heaven as well. And that's why they spent their whole life as devoted followers of Christ who teach to other people.
yeah, that's so true. And like how that's like the primary purpose of why we're here, honestly, is to gather Israel.
Yeah.
And that's evidence in, we were reading in religion class about like the allegory of like the vineyard and like grafting in the branches and those righteous works and making sure that the house of Israel is restored altogether. And that's what President Nelson said too in his talks. He's like, the first and foremost, the most principal and like the most important thing we can do today is gathering Israel and being a missionary. And that's what we're going to do in a semester for sure, is head out and preach the word and make sure that we're trying to uphold that mission of gathering Israel and being true disciples of Jesus Christ by doing what he would do, because he also had a mortal ministry, and that's what he did, is he went and gathered Israel and brought people to the true gospel. So
yeah, that's good. Mortal ministry, that's what we're going to be doing on our missions.
yeah, for real.
Where do you want to go on your mission?
I don't know, wherever the Lord sends me.
Oh, it's
but
a good answer.
hopefully outside of Provo, that'd be a good start. So yeah, I hope I can make it that far, but I don't know.
That's a good answer. For me, probably like somewhere Spanish speaking, hopefully South America.
Ooh.
Somewhere in South America, that'd be sweet.
A little exotic.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, our friend Landon is actually in the MTC right now.
Yeah.
Doing home MTC. He's going to Lima, Peru, West Mission, which is sweet. Good for him, speaking Spanish.
Yeah. He's a good example to me, for sure.
Yeah.
Just like, I see those missionaries out there and I get the emails from like all my friends and stuff like that. And like just being able to like see what they're doing and like the good that they're doing and how happy they are and how blessed they are for doing that. So there's nothing more important that we could be doing, to be honest. And
it's cool just to like our friends that are on missions in the field, just cool to hear their testimonies like through their emails and just how just they know the gospel is so true. And like they have this new light about them now that they're out on their mission. That's super cool to see. So yeah, mortal ministry. No, yeah, but I was talking to Landon on the phone the other day. He was talking about how home MTC, he said it sounded horrible at first, but it's just been such a blessing. And so I don't know. I'm really excited for that for my life.
Oh, for sure. Trying to see what else I really liked. And I liked how, so they, Jesus dips, he leaves or whatever, but he like leaves the disciples down there, and he leaves the church established and everything in order. And they began to prosper immediately. And it came to pass that there was no contention among all the people in all the land, but there were many mighty miracles wrought among the disciples of Jesus Christ. When you follow the gospel and you have that at the forefront of your life, as we talked about, like desiring the kingdom of God and desiring that influence and power in your life, like you're going to see that your life's going to go a lot better if you didn't have it, for sure. So
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually something we learned about in one of my classes the other day, was that keeping Jesus Christ at the forefront of your mind is the best way to live, because that's what's going to bring you the most like real happiness, true happiness. Like the things of this world will bring you like temporary happiness and like false happiness almost, but like living with Christ at the forefront of your mind is the best way to live. And like all the other pieces of your life will fall into place, like if you prioritize Christ.
yeah, for sure. And I find like in my own life that those times, like when I like haven't, been keeping up with like my scripture study or praying or whatever, and I'm like, trying to look other places to find like that answer that I need to, like, why is my life just not going like the way I want it? Like, why is it not as smooth? Like, instead of like putting that off to the side and being like, no, I'll worry about that later once I figure this out right now. That is the answer. And it's hard to see that and recognize that sometimes, but I think it's really important that we do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
And yeah, and it goes into 16. It keeps going with, and there were no envyings, nor strifes, nor tumults, no whoredoms, nor lyings, nor murders, nor any manner of lasciviousness. And surely there could not have been a happier people among all the people who had been created by the hand of God. That's a powerful statement right there. Go back. Wait. There could not be a happier people among all the people who have been created by the hand of God. Bro, that must have been like, they were really happy, it looks like. Yeah, dang. Happy. Happiest of all time, you know, like the goats of happiness, you could say, I guess, but that's crazy.
That's true. That's good. And that's talking about like true eternal joy, because they're finding joy through Christ and not just through the things of the world. But I feel like in that whole first half of the chapter, there's so many different blessings that come with them living with Christ at like the forefront of their minds, and like being so spiritual. It says they experienced all manner of miracles. That's something, miracles are easier to see in your life when you're living with Christ at the forefront of your life, the little miracles. Yeah. And they built cities. Like they were living with a lot of happiness. They were prospering in the land, and it was all because they were living with Christ at the forefront of their mind. All their other pieces were falling into place.
Yeah. Reminds me of like that Lil Wayne song or whatever. Like, let it all work out, you know what I'm saying? Just like how
what about where he like, never mind.
Yeah, don't look up the song, but low key though, no, that let it all work out or whatever. Like, the title. It's like where like the chorus or whatever, where it's like if you can like allow God to like be a presence in your life, then it'll all work out, you know?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Maybe that's a connection I don't make again, but just this once.
Yeah, it connects with the title for sure. But
oh gosh,
like what can we like? What are some communities that we live in, like in our lives, like your family, your ward, I don't know, our elders quorum. What are some things we can do in these communities that will unify them and make them happier, like in our lives?
Putting in the work, maybe, like to keep those relationships, like, and like strengthen those relationships, because it takes effort, right, to like make a community. You have to sacrifice for that community. And we talk about communities a lot, you know, in our university class, like as much as like I don't like that class, I'm not gonna lie, but like, that class though, like we talk about that BYU community a lot or whatever, and like being a part of that and how it's a covenant community or whatever. And it takes effort for everyone to feel like they belong and for it to be cohesive, and everyone, you know, just has their part in it, and that everyone feels valued and understands the values that drive the community itself. So yeah, it's really important.
Yeah, I agree. I also think a big part of it is just like showing the love of Christ to everyone within your community. Well, everyone in general, but specifically for your community, like just showing the love of Christ to everyone in your community, just being there for them. And like, another part of that could be like doing service, like that. that's doing service. Charity is the pure love of Christ, and doing service for like your fellow man and those neighbors in your community that will really bring your community together.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that like we don't have just like we're not just like assigned to like the sister for like ministering or whatever, but we're assigned also like to the brothers. So like we have two different assignments for that, and like like how we're supposed to like bless others, but also like bless people that we're closer to, like in terms of like that elders quorum and stuff like that. So I think that's cool that they focus on that like in our ward, which is really fun. So
that is cool.
Yeah.
There's another question here. It says, what can you do to help overcome divisions and truly become one with other children of God?
You got to like get over arguing with each other, just like they were saying, like no contention in the land or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like over petty stuff, like, like just being mad at like your friend or whatever because his team beat yours and Thursday night football or Monday night football, like you just got to like, you got to move past that and like forget the little stuff and just focus on like the big picture. Because honestly, like your relationship and the way that you guys are striving towards eternal life and receiving, the fullness of heavenly glory is way more important than just the little things. Yeah. And the more people that you have like going with you towards that journey or whatever and by your side is way more important than just like saying forget you or whatever and just like kind of putting off the side and putting them like on the bench. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think that's really important that we just focus on like the bigger picture instead of just arguing over the little things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So.
Yeah. And it's funny that you bring up that example of your football team beating your friend's football team because Tegan's Seahawks lost to your Lions and then Isaac's 49ers back-to-back. But that was just a funny example. But, yeah, one of the things that I think is just, like, remembering that if we want to overcome division with our fellow man, even if they're different from us, we just need to remember that we're all children of God, and God made each and every one of us. And that just reminds me of the Matt Walsh documentary we went and saw in the movie theater, Am I Racist? And it just, like, all these people are trying to divide each other into different groups, like, white people, black people, Asian people. They're trying to just divide us into groups, but we're not different groups. We're different races, but we're not different groups. We're all children of God. I just think it's important. I just think it's important that we remember that because that will help us get over divisions in our lives.
Yeah, that's like the central mission of BYU, right? That goes back to like the mission statement itself or whatever is to help people like understand that they are children of God. That's like one of the biggest parts of that idea of belonging and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, we get mad sometimes like over intramurals and we're arguing with like those guys, but maybe like I got to take a page out of the book that we're writing right now in terms of like, it's not that big of a deal. And there's a lot more that comes out of loving than hating for sure. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's easy to like try to like find like reasons to like, go after someone and be like, I don't like you because of this, but and sometimes it's a lot harder to do that, especially like when they're mistreating you and stuff like that. But we were talking about too, like when like the faith shakers like Nehor and Sherem and Korahor or whatever, and those three, and like how they were trying to divide and tear down the faith of those that believed in the Book of Alma and stuff like that. But just how they're able to like take that persecution and stand strong and withstand that sort of the way that they were just attacking them and stuff like that. So like when others attack us, can we just stand strong and can we like just not waver, both in like a spiritual sense and also like in the sense of like I'm not gonna take it personally, look at like what you said to me, like, and not getting upset over that and making sure that you have that like just thinking like what would Jesus Christ do, you know, because he never got angry at all the people that were mad at him and stuff like that. So
yeah, I love that, and that's definitely what we should strive to do. But I sometimes that can be super hard to do, like right in the moment. Like I know you talked about intramural sports, those sometimes get heated. Like someone shoves you or says something to you, and it's just hard to remember to show the love of Christ in that moment. But I think that's something that we can all benefit from striving to do, is showing the love of Christ even in those situations, even those quick moments. But yeah, I love that.
And there were things that they did like towards the end or whatever where they were believing, but this church quickly crumbled, as we see like at the end of 4th Nephi. Is they started out like with no contention, and then very, very quickly it went to like a period of war and a lot of division. And that goes back to what you were saying in verse 26. And they began to be divided into classes, and they began to build up churches unto themselves to get gain, begin to deny the true church of Christ. And like that idea of like division, like just throwing away like how much they were unified through Christ, because Christ came, he was the one that brought them together in a sense.
He brought them unity and happiness.
Yeah. So they like were not like, I bet most of those people like were not that good of friends before, but like after they like all saw and had the witness of Jesus Christ, they're like, that's what makes us special, is that Jesus Christ came and visited us, and that he loves us, and that we're covenant children of him. So that's where they were able to find common ground, and they forgot that, and that's why the church crumbled.
Yeah, that's true. And they're also in a state of happiness, and now they're not, because they're so divided against each other. And instead of showing the true love of Christ to their fellow man, they're just creating these divisions. And that's extremely bad for society.
Yeah, and it goes even more into verse 28. This is 4th Nephi 1. And this church did multiply exceedingly because of iniquity, and because the power of Satan who did get hold upon their hearts. I think, in a sense, it's a lot easier for the church to spread and for bad things to spread than good things, to be honest. Like, it can be torn down and even like more than like it was built up in the first place. That's the power of wickedness, is that it's way easier to do bad than to do good. And that's like part of why we really need to do good, and why we need to be able to understand like how dangerous it is to start doing evil, because it's like an easy bad habit to that we can start doing and then not go back to it. So
striving to do good in all that you do. I love that word, striving. I feel like it's better than just trying to do good, but like striving is just I feel like it's just better than trying. But
yeah, it's better. It's more powerful. It has more meaning. I feel like it's multifaceted. And I think that wraps up 3rd Nephi 27 through 4th Nephi. And I think we did a decent job. I don't know. Yeah. Let the viewers back at home decide if we were doing good. But thanks for coming out. It's really early.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We turned off the alarm pretty quick, and we almost didn't make it, but we're here now. So
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But we made it, and we did it.
Yeah. And I think this has been a really good spiritual experience to start out the day, for sure. Yeah. And to kick off this weekend. Yeah. Maybe that'll bless us as we go to the BYU game, and hopefully they can win and continue the undefeated streak.
Yeah, it's 7-0, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But thank you so much for coming out. And
of course, dude. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah. That's it.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.